So today we are reading Canto 3, Chapter 5, and text number 19. Chapter 5, entitled Vidur's Talk with Maitreya. So I will recite the verse 3 times and then you please recite. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasa Tato Jaya Mudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtuki Shunvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hardyantasto Hi Abhadrani Vidanoti Shruhat Satam. So I will recite the verse 3 times. नैचचित्रं त्वयि क्षत्तर बादरायण वीर्यजे ग्रहीतो नन्यभावेन यत्त्वया हरिरीश्वरः नैतच्चित्रं त्वयि क्षत्तर बादरायण वीर्यजे ग्रहीतो नन्यभावेन यत्त्वया हरिरीश्वरः नैतच्चित्रं त्वयि क्षत्तर बादरायण वीर्यजे ग्रहीतो नन्यभावेन यत्त्वया हरिरीश्वरः. Please recite.
Naitachitram Tvaivikshaptar Badarayanam Viryaje Grahito Ananya Bhavena Yatvava Harir Ishvaraha. Hare Krishna.
Naicha chittam taishattar badaranaya birjaje grahito ananna bhavena yattaya taya haririsharaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Naita chitram tvaichatar padrayana viryaje grihito ananya bhavena yat tvaya harir ishvara. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Naitach chitram twayi satar padarayana viryaje grito nanya bhavana yatwaya harir ishvara. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Naitachitram tvaikshatar badarayana viryaje grihito ananya bhavena yatvaya haririshvaraha.
Prabhu, you are mute, Prabhu.
No, never. Etat, such inquiries. Chitram, very wonderful. Tvai, in you. Kshatah, O Vidur, Badarayana of Vyasdev. Viryaje, born from the semen. Grahitah, accepted. Ananya bhavena, without deviation from the thought. Yet, because. Tvaya, by you. Harir, the personality of Godhead. Ishwaraha, the Lord. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Vidura, it is not at all wonderful that you have so accepted the Lord without deviation of thought. For you were born from the semen of Vyasdev. Purport. The value of the great parentage and noble birth is evaluated here in connection with the birth of Vidu. The culture of the human being begins when the father invests his semen in the womb of the mother. According to his status of work, a living entity is placed in a particular father's semen. And because Vidur was not an ordinary living entity, as he was given a chance to be born from the semen of Vyas, the birth of the human being is a great science, and therefore reformation of the act of impregnation, according to the Vedic ritual called Garbhodhan Sanskar, is very important for the generating good population. The problem is not to check the growth of the population, but to generate good population on the level of Vidur, Vyas, and Maitreya. There is no need to check the growth of the population if the children are born as human beings with all peculiar regarding all the precautions regarding their birth. So-called the birth control is not only vicious but also useless. Om Agyantimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruvai Namaha. So, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to recite Srimad Bhagavatam today. And this shloka is really very important. It shows the greatness of Vidurji, how he was born from the semen of Vyasdev, the Devayan Vyasdev, who was the incarnation, literary incarnation of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, and Vidurji, as we know, he was also incarnation of Vyasdev, of Yamraji, who was one of the Mahajans. So here we are reading between, there is a conversation between, and this conversation was not like material talks, but it was transcendental conversation between the Maitreya Muni and Vidurji. So we are reading their conversations for many shlokas so far, and we know how Maitreya Muni met, how Vidurji met Maitreya Muni, because Maitreya Muni was not a simple soul. He actually was one of the two persons who were with Lord Krishna when Lord Krishna was leaving this material world and going to his Golok Vrindavan Dham. So at that time, the first Uddhavji came, and Uddhavji was asking him so many questions, and he was actually telling him everything, about the further elaboration on the devotional service, because he gave so many instructions in Bhagavad Gita, but he wanted to give more detailed explanation to even after Bhagavad Gita to Uddhavji. But when he was giving these instructions and telling about the elaboration, how the process of bhakti should work, so at that time Maitreya Muni also joined, and he was also listening. So Maitreya Muni was great personality. So we can see the whatever knowledge Krishna gave to Uddhavji, that is known as Uddhav Gita. And Uddhav Gita has 1030 verses. It goes from on 11th chapter, from 11th canto, from chapter 7 to 29. And altogether there are 1030 shlokas. If you compare to Bhagavad Gita has only 700 shlokas. And in Bhagavad Gita, we see the comparison. It describes about Prakriti, the Bhagavan, the Jiva soul, and this world, and time, and all these things. And yoga processes, the different things, is described in Bhagavad Gita, where in Uddhav Gita, there are so many different elaborations on the process of only Bhakti Yoga is described in the Uddhav Gita. And in Bhagavad Gita, we can see the Chatushloki Bhagavatam, Chatushloki Gita, where there are 4 shloks and it gives all the important shloka. Whereas in the Uddhav Gita, we see there is a Bhikshu Gita, there is Hansa Gita, and there is Aila Gita. Aila Gita is the instructions was given to Puranjana. And so that's all described in 11th chapter. So 11th chapter is actually very, very important chapter after Krishna's, all the Leelas and everything, 11th and 12th chapter, they have their own great importance. So we can see here how Vidurji and Maitreya Muni has conversation. So in whole Bhagavatam also we can see conversation everywhere. Like we can see the conversation between the Parikshit Maharaj and also Saunik Rishi and all the Sut Goswami. And we are seeing here the conversation between Vidur and Maitreya. So these conversations goes on in Srimad Bhagavatam. Also Bhagavad Gita is also conversation between Arjuna and Krishna. So this whole Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita is all conversation actually and instructions by Krishna most of the time. So we can see in this particular shlok which we are reading today, here it is said that Maitreya Muni is saying to Vidurji that it is not astonishing or surprising that you have accepted the Supreme Lord Krishna without any deviation. So this is the main aim, in the bhakti there should be no deviation. So here we can see in the shloka it says, Grahito ananya bhavena, which is in third line. So grahito means accepted. Ananya bhavena means one-pointed bhav, one-pointed thought actually on that. It's not thinking here and there. So actually bhakti should be one-pointed, all focus on Krishna. So if we put our mind here and there, 10,000 places, then bhakti will not be there. Same thing happens when we start chanting. Our mind goes here and there, and we have to bring it back, and then again mind goes, and again we have to bring it back. But if we are focused on bhakti, at that time, we should actually continue thinking about Krishna. So that way, the chanting will be very great. So we should not have any deviation in the bhakti. And we have to take bhakti as it is. As it is means whatever Krishna instructed or our Guru Maharaj instructs us. So bhakti should be like that. It's not like changing too many times. I do this way, I do that way. That's not the proper way. Proper way of bhakti is actually the thing, we have to take the instructions as it is, not changing it, not according to our wish, that whatever we want or whatever is comfortable to us, And sometimes we do that some things we accept, which we like, and something we don't accept because we don't like or we cannot do it, or it's hard to do it. So that's not proper bhakti actually. We can see here the Vidurji. Vidurji was a prime minister of King Dhritarashtra, and it was a very big kingdom. And as a prime minister, he had so many responsibilities. But at one point, when Duryodhana scolded him, telling him the bad words like, you are eating our grains from our palace, and you are taking side of our enemy, Pandavas. So how it good, you should get out of here. So when he was scolded like that, then Vidurji left his bow and arrow there at the door, and he left. At that time, he never thought that I'm leaving this palace and where I'm going to live, all those things. If something happens to us, that's what we will think, where I'm going to eat. And he never said any bad word to anybody, to Duryodhana or Dhritarashtra or anything, that I'm working for so many years and I help you in so many ways. That's what normal person will do. But he never said that. He just thought that whatever Krishna did, that was in my luck or my karma is like that. So they don't want me to keep. So he just walked out. So That should be proper way rather than fighting with other people. So that's not the proper way. So he did properly, and he thought that this is Krishna's mercy on me, that he is giving me the chance to go to pilgrimage. And in the pilgrimage, I can take the association of all the devotees. Actually, he was great devotee himself. He was pure bhakta. He was Shuddha bhakta. And so actually when Vidurji went to the holy places, holy dhams got purified by his presence. And whenever he took dip in the holy river, actually rivers got purified because he was so great personality. And in the palace we can see how much he actually gave up. He gave up his ministry as a prime minister. He gave up palace. He gave up everything. He didn't thought where I'm going to eat, what I'm going to wear, and he was living like a simple mendicant. He had matted hair, he was not shaving everything. So he didn't have any comfortable life. He was walking on his barefoot and getting his own cloth and everything with him. And so he was living very simple life actually at the time of pilgrimage. And that's a proper way to do. And he was not worried about the food, whatever comes in the bhiksha, he will eat, otherwise he will not eat. So that kind of sacrifice he did. And that's why Krishna was very happy with him. So we can see how Vidurji can do without his bhakti, without any deviation. So Vidurji is saying, so Maitreya Muni is saying to Vidurji, how you could do it, because you are a great soul. You are born with the semen of the Apan Vyas. And the Apan Vyas is the author of all the Puranas and Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, everything. So we know Bhagavad Gita is a part of Mahabharata, which is given in the Bhishma Parva. So it's one of the parts from the Bhishma Parva we can see. It is part of Mahabharata. So Vyasdev was literary incarnation, as we know, and he wrote Srimad Bhagavatam, which is his best thing, which is Krishna himself. It's not simple literature; it's a great literature. So Lord Krishna, while he was going back to Vrindavan, he was fulfilling. When Krishna left this material world, actually he came here to fulfill. He comes in this material world for two main reasons, to give the encouragement to the devotees, give them pleasure to his devotees, and taking them back to Golok Vrindavan, and also to establish the religious principles. And the other thing he does, Pavitranaya sadhunam, vinashak duskritam, dharma sansthapanarthaya, sambhavami yuge yuge. He comes every millennium after millennium, and he established the religion and gives encouragement to his devotees, pleasure to his devotees. So that's his main reason he comes here. So this time also, when he was going to his lok, when he fulfilled all his duties, what he has to do, what he came for, he fulfilled. And after that, he was talking to, at that time, while he was going, he was talking to Uddhavji and the Maitreya Muni. So actually, Srimad Bhagavatam, we can see, he was telling most of the things from Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, we know that this is the comprehensive knowledge of Bhakta, Bhagavan, and the Bhakti, devotional service, post-process. So, and the Srimad Bhagavatam is in the form of questions and answers, like we are seeing here. The Vidurji is asking questions, and Maitreya Muni is answering the questions. And while we read Srimad Bhagavatam, we can derive a lot of pleasure. So much highest pleasure, highest satisfaction, only by hearing and reading Bhagavatam. So, and here all our ISKCON temples actually having a Bhagavatam class in the morning. So that's a great thing that people can take advantage of this. So in the purport, when we see, Srila Prabhupada wrote very nice purport, And he's saying that the value of great parentage and noble birth is evaluated here. So Prabhupada is giving actually the value of great parenting. If our parents, mother and father are devotees, are great personalities, then we get advantage of that, because we see right from childhood that my father, mother, they are great devotees. They do worship in the home. They read Bhagavatam. They read Bhagavad Gita. They chant in the morning. They cook for the Krishna and offer the food. So they see all the things right from childhood. So we get that kind of sanskar right in the beginning, right from our birth. So that really helps a lot. So there are a lot of chances. If the person is born in devotee's family, he will be devotee. 99% he will be devotee, because he will see, unless he get exposed to different things, and he changes his mind. That happens sometime, but most of the time we see the devotee's children becomes good devotees, because he sees the devotional service right from the childhood. So Sri Prabhupada is writing in the next line, the culture of a human being begins when the father invests his semen in the womb of the mother. So this semen actually is very important thing, but we can see that people waste so much semen, which is the actually vital energy in person's body, and it should not be wasted, because in the olden days, all the marriages were happening because they will have like intercourse only for recreation, not like for fun or anything. But nowadays we see it's completely opposite to that. So we can imagine, how we can think, how we came in the semen of father. What happens actually? How is the process? So our Vedic literature says that one time we were in the clouds as a jiva soul, because we are not this body, we are jiva soul. So we were in the clouds, and then thunder came, thunderstorm, and heavy rains came. And through the rain, as a soul, we came in this world. And some rain fall on the sea, some rain went on the river or reservoir of waters like lakes, and some rain came on the ground, some went on the desert also. So everywhere rain goes, and accordingly, the whatever rain comes on the ground, then there are agricultural fields. So the soul goes through the rain in the agricultural fields, and then enters the fields, and there are the grain plants, plants of the grain where the farmers grow the grains. So we comes in the grain, and from the grain, when the father eats a grain, then it goes in his body, in his stomach, and then it is absorbed in the blood, and from the blood it goes in the semen. So this is the process how the jivas also goes in the semen, and then when father mother mates, then it goes in mother's womb, and so this is the process. So there is a shloka here, because many times what happens that even sometime Mother Earth, holds the rain, and also sometime Mother Nature holds the grain also, like we can see in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the history of King Venu, he was a bad king, so Mother Earth was holding all the grains, and she was not giving rains and other things, because he stopped all the religion, all the devotional services, all chanting, all the fire sacrifices, everything he stopped in the kingdom. And that's what happened. The Mother Earth actually stopped producing any grain. But then King Prathu came. Then King Prathu actually challenged the Mother Earth that why the citizens are not having enough rain, and he was really ready to fight with Mother Earth, and Mother Earth, because he was a pious king, he was actually incarnation of Supreme Lord. So Mother Earth gave plenty of rain. So let us see how actually, like, how he came in the family of Vidurji, came in the family of Kuru, because there is a big dynasty known as Kuru dynasty. So in the Kuru dynasty, there was a king. His name was Vichitravirya. And Vichitravirya, actually, he was good king, but he got some disease, which is described in Mahabharata as chronic disease, which many doctors think that it was tuberculosis. So he died at very early age without giving any children to their wives, and there was no heir to the kingdom. So Mother Satyavati, who was the mother of Vichitravirya, she was thinking what to do now. There is no prince or anything, so who will be next king now? So that was and king has to be there, because without king, so many bad things happens. All the thieves and all the gundas and all the bad guys, they rob the people, they rob the banks, everything bad happens. There is no law and order situation, and all the citizens gets really tired of having so many bad things going around. So Mother Satyavati actually requested Vyasdev, who was the brother of Vichitravirya, that you produce the next children from the king's wives. King Vichitravirya's wife was Ambika and Ambalika. So both had no children. So Vyasdev was actually requested by Mother Satyavati. In olden days, it is prohibited in the Kali Yuga, but it was allowed that if the father could not have the child due to lot of medical reasons, or died early, then his wives will not have any child. So that progeny will not go any further. So to continue the progeny, then they were allowed that those wives of the deceased person or sick person can get the child from the elder brother of their husband or younger brother of their husband. So Vyasdev was deputed for this purpose. So when Vyasdev came, then first Ambika was sent. And Ambika, when she saw Vyasdev was very powerful person. There's a lot of like effulgence from his face, and he had big beard and mustache and all matted hair and everything. So she got frightened actually. And in that stage, she actually closed her eye. And Vyasdev, he was a pure soul, he didn't have his children, through Ambika or Ambalika by the like regular, like what people do, intercourse, not through that, but through the process of niyoga. Niyoga process, like we have seen in the Mahabharata movie, how like the light goes from the eyes of the Vyasdev and goes on the abdomen. And that way they get impregnated just by their light, because they have so much power. They can do, Vyasdev can do that, Normal person may not be able to do. But then when she closed the eyes, then Vyasdev said that now this child will be blind because she closed her eyes. So then next, Ambalika was sent, and Ambalika kept her eyes closed. But when she saw Vyasdev, she was also very frightened. So although she had the Niyoga process, but as she was frightened, her son was who? Pandu. Ambika's son was Dhritarashtra, who was blind, and second son from the second wife, Ambalika, was the Pandu, King Pandu, and King Pandu was the father of the Pandavas, high Pandavas. So Vyasdev said that because she was so frightened, this baby also will be very weak, tired, not very powerful guy. So like in medical term, we say albino. So that kind of thing, pale, like that. and weak and pale. So, and then Mother Satyavati was not very happy that both children will be like that, So then at the end, she sent the maid servant of Ambika and Ambalika. Her name was Parishrami. So Parishrami was sent. Parishrami was maid servant, and but she was very friendly to Ambika and Ambalika, and she was very nice personality. So that's why then she was not scared, and then she had the child with the neo process from Vyasadeva, and her child was Vidurji. So Vidurji was maid servant's child, but he he was in his previous life, he was Dharmaraj, not Dharmaraj, sorry, Yamraj, who gives actually, we know that what Yamraj decides, Yamraj actually decides the fate after when living entity die, where they go. It determines the fate of them. It goes to Naraklok or Swargalok or what he gets. So all these things depend on Yamraj. So Yamraj is a great personality, and but he came, why then Yamraj has to come to this material world? Because he's great personality, he should not come to material world. But one time he got curse from Mundak Muni that you become a Shudra, and that's what he had to come here. Now, there is a story you must have heard, but I will repeat it again in a couple of minutes. That one time, Mundak Muni was living in his hermitage, and he was doing his all austerities and everything, meditations in his hermitage. So one time, in the king's palace, in his treasury, there was a big theft. So some thieves came and they put a lot of bundles of the gold and jewelry and everything, money, and then they came out of the palace and running. But then security guards were behind them, and security they were running here and there. Ultimately, they came to the hermitage of Mundak Mani, and they knew that security guard will actually take us to the jail and everything. So, but they wanted their things also. So they put all the whatever they have theft, and they put everything in the hermitage of Mundapuni, and they were hiding here and there and waiting for the security to go away, and then they can come and get their things. So security guard came, they found Mundakmuni, who was with the closed eyes in meditation, and then they also surrounded whole area, and they caught the thieves also, and along with thief they arrested Mundak Muni also, took him to the king, and he told, that this Muni may be part of it also, and all the thieves, so all the thieves were punished, that they were put on a sharp object, the sharp object. They put the person on the sharp object, they don't give any chemicals like nowadays they give injections, or they give hang till death, like that. At that time, the changa, it says changa. So they will put them on the changa, which is a sharp object. You put them on the top, they sit on the changa, and changa goes through the body all around, and through the head it comes out, and people die like that. So all the thieves actually, they were put on changa and they all died. But Mundak Muni was sitting there meditating on the changa, and he didn't die. After 3 days, 4 days, then the security guards, all the jailers and everything went to king and told the king that this guy, this Muni, is still sitting there, and Changa could not do anything to him. So king understood, this is a great personality, and so he went there. He asked pardon from Muni, and then he was released. He went back to his hermitage, but he asked Yamraj why he gave this kind of punishment to him. And Yamraj said that when you were a little child, you pricked a small ant by very sharp needle. So he said that this is not right, because for so innocent act of a little child, you are giving so much so bad thing, punishment to me. Punishment is not in proportion to my act of in the childhood, which is innocent actually, and so actually child should not be punished like that. So he got angry with Yamraj, and he gave him the curse that go and born as a Shudra. That's why Yamraj has to come as Vidurji. So we know now how Jiva souls comes in the father, and from father is transferred to the womb of the mother. So there are so many Jiva souls actually hanging in the sky. They want to come to the material world and get a home for that. So they all looking for a proper home according to their karmas. So the bad homes are like for karmi homes are many people who have murdered things in the big, they get all. So all the homes are available for them. But for a devotee, or many times, the devatas actually, they also die, and not die when they're all the good activities, pious activities finishes. Like people have like bank balance of $1 million, slowly they finish. And when they write the last check, after that there is no money, bank will not honor their check. So all the punyas of those devatas finishes. Shine punne mrityu lokam vishanti. So they come back, they come down to this material world. For them, there is a lot of homes, but for devatas and for the devotee homes are very, very less. All the good souls actually want to come to these mothers. So actually, the marriage of devotee is very good. They give chance to the good souls to come in their home so they can progress in their bhakti and they can purify their existence in this material world. So one time, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami was attending a marriage, and so I saw him and I went and I said to Maharaj that Maharaj, this is your third or fourth marriage you're attending. What is the significance of a devotee marriage? So, and whether a sannyasi should attend that, it's good for sannyasi because I don't see too many sannyasis attending with the weddings. They try to stay away from the weddings. So Maharaj said that this wedding, wedding of a devotee is very good thing actually. It's not a bad at all because it gives chance to the good soul to come in her home and then increase our bhakti from there, that point. So he said that's very good thing. So devotees are like in our ISKCON also not prohibited from producing the children, and that's a mother's duty. Prabhupada all the time says that if you are taking care of the child, that's more important for you than worshipping the Lord or anything. The mothers are actually, Prabhupada told, the child is crying, take care of him first, then you do your worship, because children are future for our ISKCON also and for this whole society. If the good children are there, then it will be very good. So this, by the arrangements of Lord, actually, this whole process goes on, because Lord decides actually which who will get, like who will get the bad who will get the good people according to our work. That's why Prabhupada is writing in the purport that this is a great science. Birth of a human being is a great science. Therefore, reformation of the act of impregnation according to the Vedic ritual called the Garbhodhan Sanskar. So, according to the status of our work, a living entity is placed in particular womb. So that's why Vidurji was born as son of the Vyasdev. Otherwise, he had no chance because he was doing so pious activities, so much work for the Supreme Lord. That's why he was a great soul. He was a Mahatma. Vidurji is known as Mahatma. Nowadays, anybody writes their name Mahatma, but who are the Mahatmas actually? Mahatma Nam so Mam Partha Devim Prakritim Ashrita. They are fully dependent on Krishna. That's only their job. So if some Mahatma is person, who is fully dependent on Krishna, lives on his mercy, doesn't feel that Krishna did this thing to me, or why Krishna did this thing to me, he never thinks. Because you can see with Vidurji, whatever happened to him, he never thought twice, that why Krishna did to me. I'm so pious man, but he just thought that this is Krishna's mercy on me, that he's giving me the chance to associate with the devotees, go to pilgrimage. So this should be the attitude, person's attitude. And then we can actually, Krishna can see that this person all the time thinks that he is living under the Krishna's protection and he has full faith in me, then Krishna will actually reward accordingly. So actually, as Prabhupada is writing here, that Vedic ritual is after impregnation is the Garbhodhan Sanskar. It's very important for generating a good population. So there are so many sanskars actually. We have heard of these sanskars. We all the time do like mundan and the baby shower and all these things we do. But we do it in a modern way actually. We should do it as a pure like process of bhakti. Then it will be much more fragile. But these sanskars are milestones in person's life. And they have so much importance actually, the transcendental importance. And sanskaras actually purify our soul also, and it cleans all our sins from this mortal body also. And it actually purifies even immortal soul, because sometimes soul also get contaminated. Soul is part and parcel of Krishna, but that also gets contaminated. So sanskar gives us a culture. It gives us, make us perfect person or refined person. So these things, these sanskaras are very important in our life. So for 5 minutes, I will like to talk a little bit about different sanskaras, how the sanskaras helps us actually behave in this material world like a particular person. So their Vedic things actually, all our Vedic literature tell there are about 40 different sanskaras, but out of 40 sanskaras, there are 16 Shoda sanskar. That's what the Vedic literature said. There are 16 sanskaras which are very, very important. Nowadays, we do only 4, 5, 6, not more than that. The first thing more important, even we should do even birth of the child. That's the first sanskar should do when child even not in the process of conception, before that. So when the couple wants to produce a child, at that time they should chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra whole day, more than 50 rounds at least. And then while they are in the process of impregnation, at that time they should think about Krishna, nothing else, not for enjoyment. So if you think about Krishna that way, then it will be really great thing. Then the child will be born pure devotee. What soul we get in the womb, mother gets in the womb, will be a great soul. So then that will be very good for parents also to get a good child like that. So Garbhodhan Sanskar has a lot of importance. So the main principle of marriage is to forward lineage. So that is the main purpose of this whole marriage process also. So it was very important in the olden days that newly married couple to cleanse their mind and soul of any negative thoughts. That's why this Garbhodhan Sanskara was very important. All the negative thoughts goes away, and then they concept a child who is a good, great soul in their womb. So second sanskar is Punsavan. Punsavan is the ritual after the third month of pregnancy, just to pray the Lord that please give me the good child and he stays healthy in the womb. So praying to the Lord, doing some kirtan, this small ceremony, but about third month of pregnancy it is done. And the third sanskar is whatever we call like 7 month, 8 month of the pregnancy, known as Simanton Yan, or modern day we say is baby shower. So nowadays baby shower people make it like so much fancy, and all the songs and dances and everything goes on, but this is not the aim. That's not the proper way. Proper way is to pray to the Lord to get a good child. And next is, after the child is born, we say Jata Karma. That's another sanskar. Jat Karma sanskar is actually, it bonds the father and the child. So before the umbilical cord is cut, at that time the father enters the delivery room and he prays to the Lord, and he takes the baby in his shoulder, and at that time the umbilical cord is cut. So that's a Jata Karma sanskar. Next sanskar is Namkaran sanskar. Give the name to the, nowadays people give different names, which are depend on the all the movie stars and other things, but the real name is Krishna's name, to give Krishna's name so we can remember Krishna that way. So that's a Namkaran. Then Nishkraman, that's the next, is the first outing of the child, the first time you show him the sun, take him to temple, So it is done in 4th month. When child is 4 months old, we take him to the temple. So that's a Nishkraman. And next is Annaprashan, which is done at 6 month age. We all see all the devotees do that and give the first solid food to the baby. Next is done at 9, like when he's before 2 years of age, Chudakaran or Mundan Sanskar. So that's another Sanskar. So these all Sanskaras actually help us. The child grows nicely. Then the Karna Veda Sanskar, which is the piercing the ear. Okay, some parents do, some parents don't do, but that's another Sanskar. It's not like for the show up, fancy nowadays, people have so many holes in the ear, both sides. So that's not the way, but it should done according to Vedic procedure and principles. Next, when the child is 5 years old, then he goes to school. So it's a Vidyarambha. Vidyarambha means the beginning of the first time he goes to school, like in kindergarten or whatever. So at that time, there is sanskar. So mother, father should pray to the Lord that his education is all right. Then Upnayan sanskar are also known as Janayu sanskar. So before, in the olden days, both girls and boys used to get it, but nowadays it is discontinued many centuries ago that only boys will get the Janayu or Upnayan sanskar. Next is Prasarth. Prasarth is beginning of the learning the Vedas. When he studies the Vedas or the religious books, at that time, this is another sanskar. And Keshant, when the mustache and the beard, first time they cut it, that's known as Keshanta. And then there is Samvartan, sanskar or graduate ceremony. When we finish the college, then we all have graduation ceremony. So we all celebrate that. And then next is marriage. When child finish college, start doing job, or starting to do at that time. It's a marriage ceremony. Marriage ceremony is very important. And the marriage should have some purpose of the marriage. And they should live in harmony and do the bhakti. The marriage is not for enjoyment, but marriage is for husband and wife together can do the proper bhakti. That's the principle of marriage. And the last sanskar is everybody has to get it through is anteshti. Anteshti is done and when the person dies at the end of the life. And at that time, we do all the pindadan and all those things. So our future is great. So this, like we get good next next yoni, like wherever God sends us. So that's the way according to our karma. So these are different sanskars. So these all sanskars has really great significance. But modern time people don't do all these 16 sanskar, Shodash sanskar, but do few of them, like they do Jat Karma, they do Upnayan, they do Vivaha, Antyeshti, these things, Mundan, baby shower, Annaprashan, these things are still done. So Prabhupada after this thing he's writing, the problem is not to check the growth of the population, but to generate the good population on the level of Vidur and Vyas. So how these great personalities actually were born, because they had sanskar properly. And so nowadays people say this overpopulation, lot of overpopulation, but actually a study was done in the France few years ago, and they found out about 25 years ago, they found out that study, scientific study, that overpopulation is not the problem actually. Even they figured out that even in the France itself, it has so much land that all the people of the world can live there in that small country. So we can imagine US is much bigger than that. How many countries can live? All the countries can live, and still there will be empty place. They saw US study US also. US has only population in East Coast and West Coast. In between, it's all empty. Most of the places are completely empty. Whole world's population 3 times can come only in this land only. But people are barking like dogs and cats. This is my land, like dog bark. This is my street, you cannot come. So this is the way we are behaving like dogs and cats, and fighting like that. This is my land, this is my land. So otherwise, people can live. And other thing, why overpopulation is problem? Overpopulation is problem because few people, like in whole world, there are 5, 6 very rich people, Arapatis, billionaires, and trillionaires. Actually, they keep all the money, and then little money, everybody else has it. Only 1% people have a lot of money, 19% money, and 10% for everybody else. This is the same thing happens with the grains. When grain is produced, all the big guys, who has a lot of money, they buy all the grain, put them in their godams, and what happens? The public actually don't get, and then they jerk the price up, and then they sell it in the lot of price. So otherwise, Krishna is giving food to everyone, all single entity, completely, not to the humans, but even we can see in animal kingdom. Is any overpopulation in animal kingdom? Tell me. People kill so many innocent not rabbits, the deers. After the winter, there will be deer killing season. They said the deers are too many, but there is so big nature they can live, but they kill them mercilessly just because they want to learn. They want to learn, how to kill, how to use the gun. So they just kill them without any mercy. So somebody in the next life will kill them like that. So this is the thing. Whatever we do, any bad karma, we get a reaction to that karma. So we have to think, what we do in this material life. Even in Ishopanishad, Krishna says that if one has much more than he needs, then he's a thief. Clearly say that. So we should not stock up too much, or if you have more than necessary, give the donations to spread the Krishna consciousness. So that should be the aim of a rich person, not like holding everything. Because rich people's children, they are born with the golden spoon in their hand. So this is the thing. And poor boy, the guy born in a poor family, how difficult it is for him. So we have to think, it's so Vidurji actually, here we can see that Vidurji, Maitreya Muni is telling Vidurji that your inquiries are actually very glorious. And you have, by asking me the questions, you have shown your mercy to me and mercy to this whole world. Because we all are reading after so many thousands of years, we are still reading their conversation. And he is also telling your mind is always absorbed in the transcendence or the supreme personality of Godhead. So you see how Vidurji's mind was continuously thinking about the Lord, Supreme Lord. Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, Man manava mad bhakto madhyajivam namaskuru. Always think of him and never forget about Lord Krishna. So we should remember Krishna all the time and never forget him. And that way we can actually see that how Krishna's mercy comes upon all of us. In Chaitanya Charitamrita also there is a small story about how Krishna protects his devotees actually. So there is a story about the Gopinath Patnayak. Gopinath Patnayak was a tax collector. He was collecting the tax, but he was actually stealing the tax, not putting everything in the treasury. So people complained to the prince of that kingdom that this guy Gopinath Patnayak actually is stealing the money, is not putting in the treasury. So he ordered the Gopinath Patnayak should be actually killed. So Gopinath Patnayak was relative to the Ramanand Rai, which was so dear to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Bhavananda Rai. So all the devotees actually requested that you interfere, please, and that tell the king, not to kill him, not to give him the so harsh punishment. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that I will not interfere because this is his karma. Why he stole the money? But actually later on, when devotees requested more, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually told the king that he is related to Ramananda Rai, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu do not want to punish. And then king came, he told the prince not to punish him like that because he is related to Ramananda Rai, because he was born in the devotee family. So just leave him alone, don't kill him. And he told that you continue. He actually just forgot his punishment, but he gave him the again post of collector, that he will purify now, and not steal anymore. And he said that you continue your job. So he gave him the job also. So we can see how Lord actually makes sure, even small mistakes are completely Lord forgets. He just remembers our good work only, not the bad work. Bad thing, negative things should not be thought. So if you see in devotees also some shortcomings, we should just ignore that. We should see the positive points, that at least he's chanting, he's in Krishna's movement. How many people are in Krishna's movement? Very few. So we should actually thank him for being a Krishna's devotee rather than criticizing him that this guy does this. Everybody has their own shortcomings, but we have to ignore and just think about a positive thing and try to encourage everybody, even though they are not doing properly, but they will be proper devotees rather than discouraging them that you are doing this, you should not be even devotee, you should not take initiation like that. Prabhupada was so merciful. So many devotees were doing so many bad things, but still Prabhupada initiated them. And we can see how they all help this whole movement to grow. And now we can see ISKCON is so big movement now, and everybody thinks it's a great movement. It gives so nice philosophy of Krishna consciousness, and so many devotees are taking initiation in ISKCON. As thousands and thousands of devotees, taking initiation and progressing in their bhakti. So we should all thank Srila Prabhupada for starting this movement, which is so pure and sublime, so we can all attain pure bhakti slowly. Bhakti is not easy thing, to get in one day or 1 month or 1 year or few years. It's lifelong process, but we have to slowly progress on the path of bhakti and forget about the negative things what we are doing and start doing more positive things, more chanting. New Year is coming, so we should be more committed. We should take vow that I will start this thing in our bhakti. I will start this thing. I will read more Prabhupada's books. I will chant more rounds, things like that. So that way we can all increase our bhakti. Thank you very much, and Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy holidays. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Anybody has any questions, comments, reflections, anything?
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for a nice class. And you gave a lot of important informations today about what is that? This Patnaik story, you gave that. That's very good. Bhakti is very important in life. It's not that just like that we are doing and just like that, I'm chanting. Not that. With devotion, we should do whatever little we do with devotion. That's what I thought, Prabhu.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much for the information.
All right, so we will end here. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa
Vasudevaya
sindhubhyavach
Chapatitanam
padanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavi.
namo namah ananta
Thank you.
koti vaishnavrinda ki jai.
Thank you very much.
So far.